This podcast is brought to you in part by P&P Games, your online source for everything video games. Visit their website at pnpgames.com or one of their 3 retail locations in Winnipeg, Manitoba. On this episode of the Nintendo Pulse podcast, we're talking Mario Kart 8, we're talking about Monopoly, we're talking about Homebrew, Samus in a Scandal, and much, much more on this episode 87 of the Nintendo Pulse podcast. All right, everybody, and welcome to the Nintendo Pulse podcast. This is episode number 87, as I said just a few seconds earlier. As always, I'm your host, Lloyd Hannison, and joining me, Stephen Munn. Stephen, how the hell are you?
I'm doing great. I'm playing so many retro games that I'm actually traveling back in time.
I have to thank you, Stephen. You are my savior.
As always.
You can always be my hero, baby. You sent me an email this morning about 5 minutes after Retrons went up for sale on ThinkGeek, and I ran over to ThinkGeek immediately, logged in, hit buy. I bought on the black one, bought a black one, submitted my order, and it went through. It's still processing right now, so I'm worried that maybe they oversold. Maybe they only had 3 and they oversold them. So hopefully in the next day or so, I'll get a confirmation that my Retron 5 is in fact shipping. At least I'm hoping that that's the case if there's no issues on their side. But Stephen, thank you for doing that. That was much, much appreciated.
My pleasure. I had a little thing set up so that to have them notify me when they came back in stock, and in between then and now, I actually got one. At retail. We talked about it last time. I think we were on the show,
right?
At an FYE. So I got the notification. I'm like, oh, I don't need this, and I'm like, but you know who does?
It's funny because I have the notification set up as well, and I didn't get anything. I got nothing.
Oh, wow, weird.
I really got nothing. So hopefully I get one. I'm holding out hope that is in fact the case, but we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Cool. I wonder if they're still listed up for sale on there.
Yeah, good question. I haven't checked.
I mean, have they reached the point where they're meeting demand on it? So let's see. Retron. Oops, I can't type.
And while you're looking that up, Stephen, do you notice anything else strange about my video?
You've totally revised your your shelving and stuff.
Yeah,
games and stuff.
Gone are the Mario and Luigi posters and the Jack Skellington that I had behind me, and instead in its place is a big shelf with geek stuff, trying to represent all of the shows that I do here on the network. So we have a PSP right here because that's how things started out. We got some Apple stuff way at the top. We got the iCade over there, but even better, I got a bunch of my figures and stuff, but I have all my complete in box, not all of them, but a nice collection of my complete in box NES, SNES, and N64, and a bunch of other things as well. So I'm quite happy the way that this all turned out. Got all my Homestar Runner figures there and stuff like that. So cool. Just a little change of scenery has made a huge difference. I'm kind of digging the way everything looks down here right now.
Good job.
The one thing that I haven't found room for is this guy, my complete in-box Nintendo action set with all of the manuals, all of the everything that was in the box is in here. The poster, all that stuff. But I can't really display that. Oh, my camera just focused on something. Oh, there it is. I can't really display it because I have little 1 foot square cubes behind me, and that thing's a little bit bigger than 1 foot square. So I don't know what I'm going to do with that yet. But we'll find a place.
I think that the best place that I can see for it right now probably wouldn't be very convenient to you, and that is on your left. There's a countertop right there. If you could put it down at the bottom, right where that wire is now. Right here. Yeah, there, and it would kind of be at an angle. I think that looks pretty good.
Maybe. Then my loot crate has to be moved.
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't by at an angle, I don't mean you have to push it back to more of an angle.
Yeah.
Just when you put it there normally, I think it'll show up at enough of an angle where people can see what it is.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. We'll figure out a place for it. Maybe I could put it up top where the blinky lights are, which you can't really see in the frame right now.
Yeah, they're out of frame.
We'll find a place. Jay Carguth says the best place for it right now is in his living room. All right, Jay Carguth, we'll figure that one out. All right, well, that's enough stalling. You said the black one is in stock only, or the gray one?
No, the gray one.
Oh, I hope they didn't sell it a black, because I know black went really fast. And if they did sell it a black, are they going to offer me a gray or just not give me one? That's my big question. We'll see. We'll see what happens.
That is a good question.
Awesome. Well, let's get into the show. Haven't been doing a show for a couple weeks. I was off on a vacation. I escaped to the lake and spent a week there, doing everything else but work and gaming, and it was actually a really well needed break. So that's pretty much why nothing's been happening on the network, for my shows anyway, for the last couple weeks. If you are subscribing to Drez, you got a show, because Will hosted one in my stead with Logan Lanou from DisneyInfinity.tv, and that show was actually really good, and I really enjoyed it. So I may just never show up for that show, and they can just go do it, because that was a lot more relaxing than me hosting another show over there.
It gets you off the hook.
Yeah, it's good. It's good. You have to find someone to host with, Steven, and then you can take over the hosting for this one. And then I could just sit back and watch all these shows and listen to them, and it would just be that would be great. I could play games. That's such a weird thought.
I think if I had the setup that you have there, then maybe I would do that.
Yeah, fair enough.
Mixing boards and extra computers and all that stuff.
All the craziness that I do here at VGPodcast.com.
All the stuff you invested in to
exactly.
produce such a professional quality show.
I try. It doesn't
when you
show.
don't trip over your own tongue during the PNP games.
Yeah, I do that a lot. All right, well, let's jump right into the show. Let's get into what we've been playing. Steven, what have you been playing?
It's been like 3 weeks since we were on here, so I put some more time into Dragon Quest IX, just trying to grind to get the best armor and weapons so that I can kind of push my way through the end of the game.
Okay.
Because I think I'm at the very end now, or very close to the very end. The problem is it takes a really, really long time to grind and get all that stuff together. So I have this here somewhere. Well, I'll just tell you since I can't find it now. It's an Action Replay DS that a friend of mine gave me, and I never got around to using it, so I figured I'd give that a shot. Maybe plug the cartridge into it, give myself some extra money or whatever, just to give myself a push. Mm-hmm. The other part of it is I was told that with the Action Replay, you can unlock all the DLC for Dragon Quest IX because it's all actually on the cartridge.
Ah.
So I wanted to get all the DLC since you can no longer get that from Nintendo Wi-Fi connection. So I figured, well, even if I can't give myself some extra money, at least I can give myself that DLC. But I couldn't find a code anywhere to unlock that DLC. So I don't know where he got that information. So I couldn't get the Action Replay functioning at all on my DSi XL. I think Nintendo must have patched the software, the system software on the DSi to block the Action Replay. Which is a bummer because it's actually an Action Replay DSi, so it's supposed to work on that platform.
Right.
And the website seems to think that it does, so maybe the last time they updated it, it did. So that was that. Skyward Sword. I got the treasure chest with all the strategy guides in it, the collector's edition strategy guides from Prima.
Yeah, the really cool treasure chest that should make a sound when it opens, but it doesn't, because that's a big fail, unfortunately.
Yeah, it's a missed opportunity. I've been using the giant hardcover gold-edged tome of a strategy guide for Skyward Sword to finish up that game. And I'm doing very well in it. Right now I've been running around trying to pick up goddess cubes and pieces of heart containers and things like that, and just trying to pick up all the little treasures and stuff that I missed around the game. And it's coming along really well because this guide is actually really, really well done, which is great because their original one was such garbage.
Right.
And my Rotron 5 has allowed me to play a lot of retro games, and some of the highlights are Chrysalis, which was an SNK published RPG that was reasonably well known, but I don't know really how well it sold.
Right.
And that was on the NES and the Game Boy Color. I'm playing the NES version because that's largely considered the better one, and I don't have the other one.
Sure. I remember renting that way back in the day. I don't even think I played. I don't think I played much of it, to be honest with you. It was just I wasn't into RPGs early on in my gaming career, so I rented it because the box looked like pretty badass with like the big guy with the big eyeball and all the other crap that was on it, and I was just like, oh, this game looks awesome. Then I popped it in, and it's like, what text? I don't want to read. And then I went back to blowing things up with Samus and shooting things in Contra, I think.
Right. I'm finding it a very unusual RPG. It's very different from any other RPG I played, and pretty cleverly designed. I've had to consult guides a couple of times because the translation is not particularly clear, just as was the case with most NES RPGs. I don't quite know what's going on. Yeah. But it's a really cool game, very different. Not easy by really any stretch of the imagination. The battles are all you run around the overworld, you see the monsters, and you engage them directly in real-time combat directly on the map, on the overworld, and it's really difficult because even as late in the game as I am, I'm almost maxed out on levels. I think 14 is the maximum experience level you can have, and I'm 9 or 10. Even at that level, like a regular enemy can kill me. In if I bump into an enemy inadvertently 8 times, I'm dead. So, they do a lot of damage. So you got to be really careful, and you just have the length of your sword as a weapon unless you charge it up into a missile attack. Right. You also go through MP really, really, really quickly in the game, run out really quick. And there's 4 different swords that you gather over the course of the game, and they're each has an elemental alignment, and there are a lot of enemies that can't be harmed by any sword except for a specific one. So you'll be walking through a dungeon, you hit an enemy and kill it with a sword, then you have to change swords and then kill a different enemy, and then change swords and kill another enemy because they're all like mingling among each other. And
that's a little annoying.
Yeah, it's switching could have been made a little bit faster too, but I've gotten to the point where I can buzz through the menus pretty quick, and the save states have saved my butt a couple of times on the Retron 5. So now I spent a little time talking about that one, a bit of time talking about that one, because that's mostly what I've been playing on the Retron 5. For the most part, I had that cartridge just sitting in there and just playing it endlessly. Really, really good game. But I also played a few hours of Metroid Zero Mission, which I beat years ago when it came out. Some Densetsu no Staffy 2, which is a legendary Starfy 2, which never came out in English. But even though the game's all in Japanese, you don't need to be able to read.
It's Starfy.
Yeah,
pretty
it's very
simplistic game.
It's pretty easy. Yeah. There's enough. Even in the dialogue boxes, there's little pictures explaining. So
right.
And a few other games, like I tried out the original Castlevania and stuff on there. Everything works really, really well. SingStar, played a bunch of SingStar with nice. I had a friend come over, and we spent a few hours just singing a bunch of different songs and stuff. That was great.
I like SingStar. I bought I talked about this a while ago. I bought a bunch of SingStar stuff for Kara because she was like really into karaoke, going to karaoke bars. So I bought the Queen one, and I bought the ABBA one, and I bought SingStar 2 and some other stuff. And then I picked up a set of microphones. Well, they have shorts in the cables. So if you even think of moving the microphone, and you're not singing at the moment, if you just like hold it and like move just a little bit, you get like all these spikes like up and down as the static's being interpreted. So it's impossible to even come close to getting a good score on that. So I think we have to look for a new set of microphones, unfortunately. Yeah. Maybe I'll wait for the PS4 version to come out so you can use your iPhone as a microphone, which will be the better way to do it for us, I guess.
I was reading about that on the SingStar blog, because I guess they announced that back in May or something like that, that SingStar was coming to PS4, but they also said at the same time that it won't be able to read the songs off the PS3 and PS2 discs.
Yeah,
which sucks.
I'm hoping that they'll find a way to fix that, but we'll see.
There's no reason for it.
Just load the data. Just load the data.
Yeah, it can read Blu-ray discs. It can read DVDs. There's no reason it can't read the data.
Well, yeah, and it's a download game, so there's not like you have to do any sort of weird disc swap. Just put the other disc in, load the game digitally, have your songs there. But yeah, it's a rights thing, I guess.
If they did that, if they made it so it can backwards read PS3 and PS2 discs, I would buy a PS4 for SingStar, for the new SingStar. I would do that.
That's awesome.
I managed to knock the earphones out of my ear again, like
Nice.
I like to do.
Nice.
Whenever I get excited about
Hopefully you're not bleeding this time.
Yeah.
Ruptured eardrums are never fun.
But I did lose one of the little rubber things into my ear.
That's awesome.
That's pretty funny.
That's awesome. Well, let's get a little bit into what I've been playing while you play with little rubber rings. We'll leave it there. I've been playing a fair bit off and on of Rogue Legacy on my Vita and my PlayStation 4. That's been really fun. It's roguelike. It's great. Just such a really great game. Counter Spy, I've been playing a fair bit of. That just came out this week. It's across my PS4, my PS3, and my Vita. So that's been fun. But on the Nintendo platforms, I've only been playing one game, and that is Lego Marvel. And it is horrible. It is absolutely 100% horrible, and I will never buy a mobile, portable Lego game again. So
that bad, huh?
Well, you know, Lego games, especially lately, they're kind of open world. So especially Lego Marvel, you're in an open world and you're basically running around, finding things to do, saving people, getting cats from trees, all that fun stuff. There is no open world in this game. Instead, you're given 15 stages, and then each stage has 3 mini stages, which can take you 30 seconds to get through or 10 minutes to get through, depending on what you're doing. And then each of these stages has 10 missions that you have to complete. So, yeah, and you get a gold brick for completing all those. So there's 450 gold bricks in the game. So you're playing through each level probably about a dozen times, because there'll be some in some of them, the mini levels, there'll be a quest for beat the game while using your special move to kill 5 characters. And then there'll also be another brick in the same one. Get through the level without using your special move. And then there'll be save this character. Well, you need to be Jean Grey to get that character. And then you have to get the mini kit. Well, you have to be Iron Man to get the mini kit. And then you have to save Stan Lee, and you have to be Hulk to do that in this one particular level. And the game only allows you to choose one character. And there's no swapping between all the different characters. Wow. And then at the end of the day, if you die, that's it. You have to replay the level from the start again. So they've changed 100% of anything to do with Lego. It is horrible, 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 horrible. If you're thinking of getting it for yourself or your children, do not buy. Apparently it's Lego Hobbit. Lego Lord of the Rings is kind of like that, but not so much. But it's the Lego movie game and Lego Marvel are just horrible, horrible portable experiences, because they're not the normal game. It's something new, something quick and easy to port. It's like playing a game on your iPhone. Like it belongs on your mobile device, not on a device that costs money, that plays real games. It's not a repurposed phone. It's a game playing device. These aren't even really games. So
wow, that's a bummer.
Super, super, super disappointed about that. So I don't think I'll be buying another portable Lego Marvel. I picked it up because it was on sale, and I still feel ripped off. So I loved it on my PS4. I wanted to play it on my 3DS / Vita, because it's the same game on either of them. And yeah, no, it's not a good portable game. So stay away, stay away, stay away, stay away.
Yes.
Cool. But that's about it. I've been taking it easy from gaming. I played a little Diablo 3 today with Kara on my PlayStation 3. So that's a lot of fun, because the new Ultimate Evil Edition came out for PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. So I think I'll eventually get one of those, and you can move your characters from the previous console generation over. And that's about it. I haven't done much Wii U at all, which is a little bit unfortunate. My kids have kind of stopped playing Mario Kart, so they don't keep bugging me every day to play Mario Kart. They played a little Disney Infinity, and that's about it. So yeah, we haven't been playing a lot of games these last couple of weeks. It's been really busy with work, and then going on vacation and not doing anything gaming. So it's been a nice little sobering break. But now I'm back into it just in time for all the craziness that is the fall gaming season, with the $5,000 worth of games that are coming out that I want to own, which I'll have to choose only a few.
Right.
Yeah.
It's going to be a big wave.
Oh, it's going to be crazy, man. But enough of that. Let's get into the rest of the show. Notable releases. Steven, what has come out recently that is of import?
I have some stuff. Some of this stuff stretches over the past 3 weeks. We have Super Mario Kart, which for Wii U Virtual Console, which is cool. Mega Man 5 and 6 for NES both came out for Wii U Virtual Console as well. That's last week and this week. I think it was Mega Man 4 the week before that. And then Mysterious Murasame Castle, which, if you remember, the Takamaru Ninja Star game in Nintendo Land.
Yep.
This is the game that came from. This was never released in the US before, but that came out for the 3DS Virtual Console.
Right. I remember hearing about this, that this was coming out. So that's finally out.
Yes. It's apparently it has some similarities to Zelda and some other games, and just interesting kind of a thing. The next one we'll just leave that under deals. I think we'll keep the next one under deals.
Sure.
Even though that I don't think that was available on the eShop before.
No.
So we'll talk about that. Disney Infinity came to the Wii U eShop.
More
on that under the deals section.
All right, let's get into deals.
All right. Oh, speaking of deals, earlier today, Nintendo launched the original Disney Infinity game for purchase on the Wii U eShop. However, it is free.
It is completely 100% free.
Yes,
With
it's free to download and install.
Big,
and I think my Wii U is still working on downloading it.
It has a big, huge asterisk, though. So
yes,
this game, the only reason why it exists is because Disney Infinity 2.0 is coming out in September, and there is not going to be a Wii version. So to kind of throw people a bone, what Disney has decided to do is release Disney Infinity for free on the Wii U, but the game itself is useless because it requires a portal and it requires some of the figures. So if you don't own a portal or some of the figures from the Wii, you are SOL. It's basically just taking up space on your hard drive. The thing with this is the portal for your PlayStation 3 or Xbox will also work on your Wii U. So if you have a friend that has a game that they're not playing with, you can borrow the portal and some figures and then play the game for free, which is pretty darn awesome. But basically what they're doing is, because Disney Infinity 2.0 is not coming out on the original Wii, they're saying, hey, buy a Wii U, you can move your game over, bring all your stuff, your base, your figures, all that stuff, and then you can enjoy the better version of Disney Infinity 1 in it with enough time to prepare for the much superior game, Disney Infinity 2.0. So it's kind of a throw people that have supported us on the previous generation a bone. But yeah, it's that's pretty much all it is. And it's weird because when you download it, it doesn't tell you that the game is useless without a portal. So there's going to be hundreds and thousands of people that are going to be downloading this and basically like waiting for the 8 gigs to download or whatever it is. And they're going to turn it on and it's going to say waiting for base. Please connect to base. And that will be all you can do. It's kind of disappointing.
I had meant to ask you about it because I actually downloaded this game. Thinking that there had to either be something we could do in the game without a portal, or maybe there's a way to get a portal or something like that. So I figured I'd ask you about that, but that answers that question, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's kind of...
However, when Disney Infinity 2 comes out, and I assume that's going to come with a portal, will that work with Disney Infinity 1?
Supposedly, yes.
Okay, so this way, if you get Disney Infinity 2, you would get Disney Infinity 1 for free.
Yeah, kind of. You'd get the toy box from Disney Infinity 1 because you wouldn't have any of the playset pieces to unlock that content.
Okay.
It's almost like it's useless. I don't know why it exists. They should have had maybe a download code so that if you bought a Wii U version, you'd be able to download the Wii U version of 1 for free, just to say, hey, if you have pieces that you played on the Wii, you can now use them on the Wii U. So yeah, it really is kind of crazy. I don't really understand it, and it's the whole Disney Infinity. Like, I'm one of the people that are running a Disney Infinity.tv, so my days are basically myself bathing in Disney Infinity 2.0 news. And even I'm confused about a lot of the stuff they're doing. There's less playsets this time around. There's playsets for the Marvel. And then later on, a couple months later, there's going to be a Disney starter set, which is different because it doesn't have any playsets at all. So it's just the toy box. There's rumor that there's going to be some of the toy box will be a free download on the Wii U. So at least you'll be able to get in there and play on the toy box. But is that going to happen or not? Like, it's really, really, really confusing for a game that's supposed to be for kids, meaning it has to be really simple for parents that maybe aren't gamers to say, oh, okay, little Johnny, you want this, this, and this? Okay, we will do that. You'll get it for your birthday or whatever. It's really confusing. And then this free copy of Disney Infinity 1 really is even more confusing. So I don't really know what they're doing over there. Hopefully they get everything figured out in time for 2.0 to launch in about a month's time. It's pretty crazy that it's so close.
Yeah, I'm realizing now that unless I get some kind of a portal, and some figures, I'm not going to be able to play the game.
Yeah. Do you know anybody that owns the game?
Do the play sets, do they come with portals?
No.
Okay. See, it didn't look like they did.
The starter set.
Looking at them on Amazon.
Yeah, the starter set comes with a portal, and the play sets are their own thing. So basically, to get any sort of play out of it, you need a playset piece. So the starter set comes with a playset piece that unlocks 3 playsets, and then there's 3 alternate playsets. There's Lone Ranger, there's Cars, and there's the Toy Story in Space. So
okay, I saw a Frozen one as well.
Frozen is just a toy box set. It doesn't actually have a playset.
Okay, so that's different from a playset.
Yeah, so the toy box is like Minecraft. So you're building your own stuff and having fun in it. You're making your own fun. The play sets are like a standalone 6-hour game that Disney is releasing, essentially.
I see.
That is all in them. So it's like little mini games. So you buy the starter set, you get a 6-hour game of Monsters University. You get a 6-hour game of The Incredibles, and you get a 6-hour game of Pirates of the Caribbean. And so you get all this content, this narrative-driven content. Disney Infinity 2.0 is only going to come with one play set if you buy the Marvel starter pack, and that is the Avengers, and that's it. So it went from having a whole bunch of play sets to having 3 play sets, only one coming with the game. So it's they're really changing it up and trying to make toy box where people are going to be spending most of their time. So we'll see what happens.
Gotcha.
But find out more about this and more at DisneyInfinity.tv, because we do a lot of shows over there that are just Disney Infinity, and we won't bore you with them here if you're not interested in it. But if you are, DisneyInfinity.tv, check it out.
Okay. My daughter's going to be very disappointed to hear that, but I'm going to have to tell her tomorrow.
Do you have any friends that own the game?
Just you.
Just me. Okay. I was going to say, because you could always borrow.
Lloyd's like, wait, I'm not your friend. Oh, yes, of course.
I mean,
me.
I'm totally your friend. Yes.
Of course, Stan. Yes. Thank you for referring to me as your friend.
Stan Man. All right, Stan Man. But yeah, if you had a friend that had it, even for 360 or PlayStation 3, you could borrow their portal and their playset pieces and some of their figures, and then basically play it on your Wii U for free without having to own one of those other consoles. It's just a really weird release. Hopefully they patch in some sort of content where you can maybe jump into the toy box with one character and just play around that way. But
what I want them to do is patch in NFC functionality through the
that would be awesome.
Gamepad, so I don't have to have a portal to play it.
That would be really, really good, and also very unlikely, unfortunately.
Yes, probably impossible. They probably use a different technology than NFC.
Yeah, exactly. No, I think it does use NFC, but it uses RFID. So you would need so totally different technology. So anyway, enough Disney Infinity. Let's get into the news. All right. Okay. First up, Mario Kart 8. There's some news coming on 8/27, so in about a week's time or so. There's going to be an update. This update is going to add a map display on your television screen. I guess a lot of people complained that the map was only available on the gamepad. They wanted the map on the screen, so that will be a thing as well. There's also going to be the Japanese DLC package that came out that included 3 Mercedes-Benz branded karts. So those will be available as well. You get your GLA, your W25 Silver Arrow, and your 300 SL Roadster will be available as karts that you can choose in Mario Kart. Cue internet hate here. It's just kind of weird. Your record screen is updated to show your total coins, your win-loss, online win-loss record, your character selection rates. All that stuff is going to be added to that screen. And there's also improved online stability.
Cool.
Yeah.
And improved stability. Nintendo likes putting that in their patches.
That's all they do. They're always stabilizing things. It's like a rickety old scaffolding, and they always have to like balance it out. They have to put this paint can over here because they put it over here, the whole thing's going to fall over. That's what they do with all their games.
Sure. I don't know why at all Nintendo would want to continually update the system software on their on their consoles at all. Maybe we'll hear something later today that will give us an indication as to why they might want to do something like that. But unless that happens, Nintendo.
Exactly, Nintendo. I have no idea what you're talking about about why they would be doing that, Stephen. I'm clueless, and their patch notes make perfect sense to me.
Okay.
All right, moving on. This was interesting. I actually saw this a little while ago, and I tagged it for inclusion, and it just never made it into the show. But this will be making it into my house, and this is... there's a whole bunch of branded Monopoly sets coming out real soon. Some really good ones, some really bad ones. This one makes me super happy. It is Monopoly The Legend of Zelda Collector's Edition, or just Monopoly The Legend of Zelda. The Collector's Edition will be available at EB Games or GameStop. And basically what it is it's Monopoly set in Hyrule. All your pieces are really cool. I think I closed Chrome, so I can't show you right now. Let me see if I can reopen that and get that all set up. But all your pieces are little golden representations of the Triforce and your shield and your bow and arrow and the Ocarina of Time and some other things. Ocarina of Time is a special edition piece that will only be available with the GameStop version, apparently, from what I read a while ago. It's really, really kind of interesting. Let's see if I can switch to this, which I can't for some reason. That's really weird. There we are. So yeah, here we go. This is what the set looks like, and there's really cool pieces, and there's your game board and things like that. I'm really excited about this. I haven't introduced my kids to Monopoly. There's a lot of game board snobs that call it Ameritrash because it's Monopoly. It's terrible. We should play some European board games. But I have a soft spot in my heart for Monopoly. I played a lot of Monopoly in my life.
European board games?
Yeah, there's like Agricola and Ticket to Ride.
Like Snood?
Yeah. No, it's there's a lot. Read into board games, and there's a lot of like really popular ones, and they don't come from America, and people look down on a lot of the American board games because snobbery, I guess. I don't know. Okay. But I have a soft spot in my heart for Monopoly. I've played so much Monopoly in my life, and I don't think I've ever lost a game when I've played with friends and family. So I have this huge streak going, and I know the first time I play my kids, they're all going to beat me, and then I'm just going to be depressed and never want to play Monopoly again.
Now that you've said on camera that you always win.
I've said it a few times, and usually you say it once and that's it. But yeah, no, not in this case. I'm a Monopoly machine to the point where I played Monopoly with Kara early on in our relationship, and apparently I was a jerk, and she didn't want to even talk to me for the rest of the night, and it had almost serious ramifications to our relationship because apparently I turn into another person when I play Monopoly. So
no,
yeah,
that's terrifying.
That character comes out. It's better Monopoly than something else, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't get many chances to play Monopoly just in my general day to day, so I guess I'm not a jerk normally. But I guess I can be.
I guess if it's got to be somewhere, that's a good place for it.
Yeah, exactly. So, as the Loot Chaser article says, start saving your rupees for Zelda Monopoly, which is going to be hitting soon. Mid-September is when it'll be available for GameStop if you want to get the special edition. But apparently these games will all appear in game stores everywhere, but just without some of the special edition pieces that people are getting. All right, moving on. Steven, there was a Nintendo Direct, but I wasn't in town, so I didn't watch it. What happened in the Hyrule Warriors Direct?
Big stuff. Lots and lots of identical enemies, with very, very poor animations, running around, famous Zelda characters, and getting their butts handed to them.
Sure. That sounds good.
More famous Zelda characters and more pictures,
more butt handing
sky.
To them.
Yes.
More handing of butts.
Exactly.
Over.
More hands.
Wow.
On the butts.
So,
including Ganondorf. Ganondorf's hands on the butts.
So Ganondorf, that's new. The Ganondorf's gonna be a playable character.
Yes.
Which is
along with the other villains that were already revealed, like Zant and the one from Skyward Sword, Girahim, I think is his name.
Okay.
The mage in that with the sword who annoys the hell out of you by walking slowly towards you.
Okay. Yeah. So one thing I don't know if I want Hyrule Warriors. I every time I see a little bit more stuff about it, it's like, that kind of looks fun. I kind of want to play it. Hyrule Warriors Direct basically came right before the game was released in Japan, and apparently the game is selling like crazy over there, and the Wii U sales are through the roof because of it. So apparently this was a really good choice by Nintendo. My question to you, Stephen Munn, or Stan Man from before, if I can't remember what your name is, has this Direct made you more likely or less likely or zero effect on buying this game?
I'd say zero effect. We've gone from a change from not interested to not interested.
Not interested. But flashy colors.
It definitely has flashing colors, and there's lots of hands-on butts. And you would think that those would be things that would draw me to a game like this, but it is still a Dynasty Warriors game it's basically a Dynasty Warriors game that's been reskinned to look like Zelda.
Sure.
I think that the low-quality animations on the hordes are too jarring. I think that the Zelda content looks kind of shoehorned in, and I don't know. It just does not. It does not seem like the kind of game that I would enjoy. Yes, that's my new name. Well, Stan is Steven Stan, the hand butt Mun. Yes.
hyphen man, because you've hyphenated your last name now with your non-existent self.
Right.
Wow. Okay. Well, yeah. I don't know. I kind of want to play this game, but I kind of also want to pay $60 for it. So, I'm really on the fence.
Well, give it about 2 months. I think it'll probably drop to about 30.
It's a Nintendo title, though. They usually don't drop that quick.
This generation, they seem to be doing that, though.
That's
the
true.
ones that aren't selling, they're dropping pretty quick. I don't think Hyrule Warriors will sell well, but we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. It's selling well in Japan, so it means good things for the Wii U. But
yes.
That's about it.
Yeah. Also, after Gamescom, there was a spike in pre-orders for upcoming Wii U games, bringing them up to more so than PS4 and Xbox One games. So that's helping too. And Wii U sales went up. Console sales went up as well after Gamescom. So all of this stuff, the actual production of games, has made people buy Wii U's. Which I guess should not be a surprise.
What? I'm not following Steven. So let me get this straight.
Okay.
Nintendo released a console.
Yes.
Complained that people aren't buying it. Decided to release games for this console. People are buying the games and the console?
Yes.
This is like weird Bizarro World math. Like, I don't understand. It's giving people stuff to play on this thing that they bought to play things means more sales. I don't understand.
It's economics. I took some of it in high school.
So
I didn't retain any of it. I don't know how it works, but it just somehow it works.
Yeah, that's I don't get it. I don't get it. But I will defer to your knowledge with your one class of economics in high school, Stephen.
Okay.
Awesome. Well, let's move on then to something I know a little bit more about, which is nothing actually at all about this. But there was some news that hit this week that there is a new Homebrew channel that's been basically brought up and made and coded and all that stuff for your 3DS. So there's been a 3DS homebrew scene for a while. Mainly, you had to keep your 3DS at firmware version 5 or something, some really, really old version, like 2 years ago when the system first launched in North America. Basically that. If you upgraded at all, you wouldn't be able to use it. And it would involve some trickery. There was cards that you'd have to insert. Some of the other ones would run off of, you'd install them to the memory. Like all that fun stuff. From what I understand, it was really never that good. And it was really nothing that exciting. But like yesterday, I think it was, there is a channel by this gentleman called Smealum, I guess. Smealum. I don't know what his name is. But he is talking about it. And it is going to be something that you can install. It works with the latest 3DS firmware, so 8.1.0-19. And it will not allow you to run any pirated software. So anything that has been code signed will not run on this. There is no way that it can be done because the exploit that was used doesn't even allow it to happen. So there's no way that evil, nefarious jerks could steal games and use them with this exploit, which gets a huge thumbs up with me. When the PSP first came out, there was a homebrew channel. I loved the hell out of it. And then people found a way to run ISOs on it, and basically the PSP died. No one made games for it. People were stealing stuff. No one was buying games. It's terrible for everybody. I hope that this works because I'd love to write software again. I was writing software for the DS and making little apps and games and image viewers and things, which was really awesome way back in the day. I'd love to do that again and basically make some stuff with my son because I like basically playing around with game programming and things like that. This would be really awesome. I'm kind of concerned that this is going to be shut down right away by Nintendo, but apparently there's a new exploit that's been found called SSS Pwn, and there's some technical information on smealum.net, SMEALUM.net. So basically, he's not sure if he's going to release it. He's thinking about it, but he's not going to release it publicly anytime soon. But it's something that apparently works. So I'm kind of excited. I'd like to see this come out, and I'd love to see the impending clones of like Tetris that will come out, and then there'll be like a Minesweeper game that will come out, and then there'll be a Super Bomberman clone that will come out. That seems to be the way things go. It's like yay Tetris, and it's like yay Minesweeper and Solitaire, and then they move into other game prototypes. But I'm pretty kind of excited about this. I don't want to say I'm really excited, but I'm pretty kind of excited about this. We'll see if it actually comes out.
Yeah. There was also mention by the creator there, Smealum or whatever his name is, that it should be relatively easy to put in a region lock breaker into it so that you could play, let's say, Japanese 3DS cartridges in your North American 3DS.
Immediately, that would make me a million times more likely to install it on my 3DS.
Same here.
Because there's a lot of Japanese games that I'd love to play, but there's no way in heck I'm going to import a Japanese 3DS, even though they look damn cool. But money. And now I could just buy some games off of all the different websites that sell Japanese software to us Japanese hungry North American consumers, and do that. Yeah, that's pretty cool. I'm excited to see if this actually comes to fruition. I'm sure that the second it's released, there'll be a stability increase update from Nintendo that will break it, and then there'll probably be the cat and mouse game for a while until this exploit is basically destroyed, and then it will not run anymore. So I'm excited for it, but I'm kind of worried that it won't really be much of anything at the end of the day.
Yep. Yeah, when a new when this comes out, we may have to all turn off the auto updates on our 3DSs.
Yeah, exactly.
In order to be able to use it.
And I don't even think you can turn it off anymore. I think there's one of the EULAs that you agreed to basically said that Nintendo can at any time install software to your device, even if it ends up bricking your device in the process. So I don't know if there's going to be any way to turn it off other than turning off of the Wi-Fi. which would be really horrible. So I don't know. We'll see what happens. This might not even be released publicly, but as it is right now, it looks pretty darn exciting, and I'm kind of excited for it.
Yeah, there's a lot of potential there. I'd like to be able to play Dragon Quest VII.
Yeah, exactly. Awesome. All right, well, let's move on. There was a bit of a brouhaha this week about Samus and a new suit for Smash Brothers. I wasn't around when this all hit the internet. I'm sure there was a lot of whining and complaining on the Twitters, as that seems to be the place where people go to say, hey, my thing is more important than your thing, and also I don't like this thing. You should change this thing because I don't like your thing. That's probably where it happened. Steven, what is this whole brouhaha about? I
don't know that it's a huge brouhaha, but I saw a few complaints about it and some popular articles about it where Sakurai released some screenshots from the new Smash Brothers games, which he does all the time, almost every day, I think, at least once a week. Mm-hmm. And one of them was kind of a palette swap for Samus's Zero suit. So basically, instead of having her in her Zero suit, you can press a button to have her in what's effectively a bikini,
really?
Which is kind of ridiculous. Oh. Yeah, kind of like a bared midriff thing, and really short shorts and stuff. So there's just lots of skin visible, which is consistent to the endings of the Metroid games. It's they do that. They've done that at the end of. I mean, you finish the first Metroid if you do well enough. She's there in a bikini, standing on.
Yeah, but she's also 18 pixels tall.
Yes. Yeah. Now, of course, there's a lot more detail there, and the argument against it seems to go in one of two directions. One is that it's sexist, and yeah, I guess it is. Mm-hmm. And then the other is that it in some way detracts from Samus as a character because when you're sexualizing her, you're making her less important. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Like less.
She's there for window
less
dressing.
of a badass.
She's a window dressing only type thing. I get that.
And I can understand both arguments.
I just Googled because I hadn't heard about this until I saw you drop it in the show notes. And yeah, she's essentially in hot pants and a sports bra.
Yeah.
And leg warmers.
Yeah, it's excessive. I think it's excessive.
I don't understand why it's there.
I'm not conservative, but I just don't think it fits the character.
Totally, me neither. I'm very far the other way, where I think like too much conservative viewpoints are kind of a huge problem with what we're dealing with right now. But she was already pretty revealing to begin with. In her Zero suit basically is skin tight. Like you can see you can see everything, like every curve, right? And that was like sexualized enough, but now you have her in basically hot pants and a sports bra and leg warmers,
and she's going to fight like that.
Yeah. Are they going to put like bounce mechanics into it? Are they taking something from Dead or Alive? Is this what the next version of Dead or Alive?
But they did give her the giant heels to wear too.
Yeah, which were already complained a lot about online because it looks like she's wearing ridiculous shoes that a certain segment of the population might wear. We'll just put it that way. That's ridiculous. I kind of just saw that and was like, is this another no story? No, this is definitely a story. I mean, I guess on the other side of the coin, this isn't much different than the Wii Fit trainer, because the Wii Fit trainer is dressed very similarly. I can't speak tonight. So I guess you did it for one, you can do it for the others, right? That's going to be the argument that's going to come out. Yeah, I don't know. This is wow, from Nintendo, if no less. I kind of wish stories like this would just go away. Like, just start treating people like people, and things would start to be better. Yeah, the
place. Industry still has a lot of growing up to do.
Oh, totally. Anyway, well, let's move on. Let's talk about some more growing up. Activision apparently is growing up, and they're leaving aside or throwing aside their childish things, because they basically came right out and said there's going to be no Call of Duty Advanced on the Wii U. So Call of Duty Advanced Warfare coming out for everything current gen and last gen except for the Wii and the Wii U. So.
And I was confused because I assumed that Call of Duty Advanced Warfare was coming to Game Boy Advance.
That's what I thought.
But no,
apparently
I thought it was going to be a Contra clone, and it's not.
I would play the hell out of that, actually. So that is a great idea. Steven, let's make that. We'll be millionaires and also sued for all the money that we made because we don't own the IP. But man, that would be awesome.
Yes.
But yeah, so no Call of Duty game coming to the Wii U. Is this really a surprise? I mean, I guess COD Blops 2 came out, and some of the other dude bro shooters did come out for the Wii U, but I guess they didn't sell well for obvious reasons. They're horrible. They're not the same as the other games. They don't have the DLC. They don't have the same community. They're lesser versions of the same game, and then they say, "Hey, look, it's not selling. Nintendo doesn't want this." It's like, well, no, you're releasing crap. So no. The next story is even more asinine. Ubisoft comes out and says, we're not releasing any more Assassin's Creed games on the Wii U because Nintendo customers don't buy Assassin's Creed games. And Watch Dogs will be the only mature title that they will release to Nintendo's platform. So when I heard this story, I immediately shook my head. I bought Assassin's Creed 4, right? Assassin's Creed 4? Yeah.
3 was the one that was there at launch.
Okay, so I bought Assassin's Creed 3. I'm so confused. There's so many of these things.
3 is the American Revolution one. 4 is the one with the pirates.
Right.
Yarr.
So 3 came out at the Wii U launch, but it had also been out for like 3 months already. Like came out in like October or November the previous year or something. Was that it? I can't remember the dates.
It was a few months, I think, was the difference.
Yeah, so this game was a huge seller. It sold millions of copies, and then a console launches with a game that is already 3-4 months old at full retail price, and then they complained that it didn't sell well. I bought Assassin's Creed 3 on the Wii U because I wanted to play it. I wanted to play a full retail game on the Wii U. I enjoyed it. I quite enjoyed it. It was a fun game. Not really a fun game just because it was on the Wii U, but it was a fun game because it was a fun game. But you released a game that is, let's just say 4 months. It could be 6, could be 2. I'm not exactly sure, and I don't want to waste time and pull up Wikipedia right now. But you released a game that is 4 months old at full price and then complain that it doesn't sell when people can go to the console next door and buy the game for 30 or 40. It was the same with Call of Duty. It was the same with what was the other big game? There was Mass Effect came out, and it was $65, where you could buy it on the PlayStation 3 or you could buy it on the Xbox because it was an old game. Like there's all these titles that came out at launch at full price, and then they're like, hey, look, mature titles and full core gamer experiences don't sell on the Wii U. Well, they're old. People have played them. They've already bought a console to play the game if they really wanted it. They're not going to wait and get it on the Wii U on the chance that it might come out 6 months after launch. So both of these stories are ridiculous. Like if you want people to buy your game on the Wii U, well, then make the game for the Wii U, make it the same as all the other titles, put all the same love into it, and people will buy your console. They'll reward you with a purchase. But what's already happened, the Wii U's been out for 2 years, coming up on 2 years. They've moved on. They've said, okay, yeah, I'm not going to get this experience on the system anymore, so I'm going to buy my PlayStation 4 or I'm going to buy my Xbox One. And that's kind of where they've gone. So, yeah, no one bought them because reasons, really good reasons, and they're not going to buy them anymore, so you might as well not make them. Sure, do that. That's fine. You're going to sell millions of these on other consoles, so I guess it's no big deal. But don't just ignore the console because some of your games that you released months after the other consoles didn't sell well. It just seems like a really stupid proposition. Like, I made a restaurant and I didn't clean the tables and people didn't buy my food, so screw you guys. I'm not making food anymore and I'm a world-renowned chef. It's like, well, you didn't give them a good experience to begin with, so yeah, they're not going to reward you with sales.
Right.
I don't know.
They go into the platforms. They do this every generation too. These big companies, they go into the platform with the expectation that their multi-platform titles are not going to sell on Nintendo's platform. So they slack off on it. They hand off the port to somebody else. They they don't pay any attention to it at all. And then when it doesn't sell, they use it as
Nintendo consumers don't care about real games. They just care about whatever Nintendo comes out with next. And it's like, what are you?
And to Ubisoft's credit, they said, well, the games like Just Dance and stuff, those sell well on the Nintendo platform, so we'll focus on those instead. And it makes, at its core, it makes good financial sense to focus on the games that sell on that platform. But the reason games like Assassin's Creed don't sell as well on the Wii U platforms is because the games aren't as good on the Wii U. They leave out features. They leave out content.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, they're the redheaded stepchild of that.
Or like
same
Watch
game.
Dogs. Watch Dogs, it releases a year later.
Yeah.
They're saying a few months. It's going to be a year.
Yeah.
We'll see.
I wanted to play Watch Dogs on the Wii U. I just thought that would be the best way to do it because of having the tablet, having the always online world map shown, all my friends coming in. That would be a really great experience. I bought it on my PS4. I played the hell out of it. I'm going to be playing all the DLC. I've already bought the game. I'm not going to buy it on the Wii U. Anybody that wanted this game has already played it on something else. They're not waiting, holding out hope that it would be coming on their Wii U eventually, except for the people that maybe only have a Wii U in their house. And I mean, the people, if you pull up a Venn diagram of people that want Watch Dogs, people that own a Wii U, and have only
people
one console,
have not already bought it.
have not already bought it. There's going to be very little overlap between these circles. It's just. People have moved on. Like, you're releasing the game late, it's not going to sell, and then you're going to say Nintendo people don't like good games.
Yeah,
no,
just cancel it.
Yeah, just
cancel it.
Don't bring it out. And there's another story that came out a while ago. Ubisoft has a completed Quacko says we might get him in those circles. Okay, fair enough, Quacko. They have a completed game fully ready to release, and they're not going to release it until there's more sales of the Wii U. It's like, but Ubisoft,
that's probably Watch Dogs.
It could be Watch Dogs, totally, or it could be something else. Even if it's something else, that's even more asinine. But like, you're releasing your games on the Xbox One, who sold less than the Wii U. There's less people that own an Xbox One than a Wii U right now. You have no problem releasing every single game there. So it's just like you're not even being truthful with your excuses for not bringing it out. I don't know. It's ridiculous. It gets me angry, but. I don't know. From a platform standpoint, I mean, I'm pretty much okay with my Wii U being my Nintendo player. It will play all my first-party Nintendo games because there'll probably be nothing else except for downloadable, more independent-type titles like Shovel Knight was great. That will be the experiences that I have on my Wii U because of things like this, which is really kind of sad. It would be nice if an Activision or a 2K or a Rockstar or an Ubisoft would basically create a new IP, create another Zombie U, even Ubisoft, if that's what you want to do, and just focus and treat the platform with some respect and love. And I think they'd be surprised with what would actually happen if they actually give it a good try. Not this. We released 6-month-old games at full price and they didn't sell. Well, Nintendo. Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Gee, they sound suspiciously like us at that last part.
They do. It's weird. I don't understand that. I know it must be a new thing online. Anyway, let's move past the complaining. Let's get into some good news. Steven, wow us with something good.
I don't know. Pokemon games are coming to iOS only now.
Well, what about the one before it?
Mighty Gunvolt.
It's good.
People who know and are aware of Inta Creates, the company that is made of the people who invented and made all the best Mega Man games, formerly of Capcom, now at Inta Creates. They have Mighty Number 9 on the way, that famous Kickstarter. They have
the two Kickstarters.
There were 2 Kickstarters for Mighty Number 9?
Yeah, they had the first Kickstarter, content, right? And then they said, yeah, we want to release all this other stuff. Give us more money. Don't worry, the original game's still coming out. Don't worry about that. Just give us more money.
And then there's a Blue Bomber, Azure Striker Gunvolt.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I got the words wrong. Go figure. Is another one by them.
I think Nintendo's lawyers and Capcom's lawyers are going to be calling you really soon, Steven, for getting that wrong.
All right. They've just released Azure Striker Gunvolt in Japan for 3DS, and it's about to come out in the US. If you buy Azure Striker Gunvolt for the $14.99 that it costs in the first, I think, month, 2 months or something like that it comes out, before the end of November, I think it is, you will get another game for free. Get a download code for another game for free. And that game is called Mighty Gunvolt, and it's kind of like an 8-bit styled mashup crossover between Mighty Number 9 and Asia Striker Gunvolt. It's a little 8-bit style game, 5 stages, I think, 5 or 6 stages, where you can play as Beck from Mighty Number 9, you can play as Gunvolt, or you can play as a character from a third game that I don't think is supposed to come out in the US, but these are all Inti Creates games.
Sure.
And their protagonists are all available as playable characters in this game.
Okay.
And it's free. You can get it free if you buy Asia Striker Gunvolt, which I plan to do. I plan to get Asia Striker Gunvolt when it comes out in a week, I think, or 2 weeks from now.
I might have to do that as well.
I'll get it for free. Yeah,
do that as well. I've heard of that game, Azure Striker Gunvolt. I've seen it released and talked about a couple times. News released, not the game release because it hasn't been released yet. But I've seen some news releases and some press releases and some screenshots and stuff, and it looks pretty interesting. Mighty Gunvolt seemed more interesting to me because I kind of like that retro stuff. So I may just have to buy the full game just to get the retro game that I could buy separately, but probably won't because I'm going to buy the original game. So I might have to do that as well. It looks pretty darn interesting.
It does. It's a great idea, and just kind of popped out of nowhere, and very exciting. I love that kind of thing. Nice.
Cool. So I'll watch for us to talk about both these games in the coming future, I'm sure, or the near future. I'm sure Steven will be picking it up, and so will I as well. So more on that as it comes. All right, moving on. This was kind of an interesting leak. There was an interview with someone that wasn't a Nintendo person at all, or a Pokemon company person at all, and they said, Nintendo's working on a copy or a version of the Pokemon collectible card game for iOS. And then there was basically the Pokemon World Championships, and the same day a screenshot of a white iPad running the PC version of the Pokemon the collector's collectible card game app. So there's an online version you can play right now on your browser. They showed an iPad with it running on it. And that was it. And then next thing you know, the internet blows up. It's like, oh my God, Nintendo's releasing iOS games and they're using Pokemon as one of these things. It's amazing. So there's a whole bunch of articles that came out. There's people that were denying it. There's people that were saying it's true, yada, yada, yada. Basically, there was an an interview that was done a few days ago by Nintendo Life. And they interviewed JC Smith, who's the director of consumer marketing for the Pokemon Company International. And basically, he said that yes, that is coming out. We're doing it differently. They have their philosophy for their properties and for the Pokemon brand. And you can't play the trading card game online unless you have the sort of system you can use it on. So we want to bring it out on the iPad, is essentially what he's saying. So he wants it to be a widespread release. He doesn't want it just on PCs. He knows Nintendo doesn't want to release stuff on the iPad. That's fine. We're not Nintendo. We're the Pokemon Company, and we're going to do it anyway. So, yeah. So what they're basically going to be doing is on the iPad, on iOS, you're going to be able to download a client for the online Pokemon, the collectible card game. That's it. That's all we know so far. Whether it's going to be its own standalone game, like original, like game. Oh, I don't have it behind me. I could have shown you my original Game Boy version of the Pokemon card game, which for Game Boy Color way back in the day. It's not going to be that. It's not going to be its own standalone thing. Apparently, it's just going to be a client for what already exists online and what you could do on your PC.
The web game, yeah.
Yeah, so less exciting, but still kind of exciting. Another question was asked. So you can't imagine Pokemon X and Y coming out on iPhones? And he said, I have no idea. I can't say that's ever been talked about. But who knows? Well, of course it's been talked about, but of course this is not something that Nintendo will ever allow. They don't want the Pokemon game. They just want people to spend money online virtually to buy card packs that Nintendo, I'm sure, gets a cut of. So essentially, at the end of the day, we don't really know what it is. We don't know what exactly it means, but we know that you'll have a client for the online Pokemon collectible card game that you could already play on your PC. Really confusing, both in how we just talked it out right now in front of you. Really kind of confusing that way. Really kind of confusing how it was released. Confusing how Nintendo denied it and the Pokemon Company denied it. And then they came right out and said, well, no, we are working on something. And then came out and said, yes, but we do things differently than Nintendo. Like there's all this conflicting confusion. Despite all the craziness that is happening, Nintendo stock jumped up 4% to what is it, 11,740 yen. That doesn't sound right. That doesn't make any sense. But anyway, this is the most that Nintendo stock has been worth in 4 months, and it is basically reduced the decline that Nintendo stock has made this year to just 16%. So the stock went up 4%, but Nintendo's still down 16%. Yet this is the most it's gone up in 4 months, just on this like really confusing rumor / really thing that's happening / maybe it's not actually going to happen after all / maybe it's just a web browser, who knows, like all this really confusing stuff that's happening. I think it's fascinating how one little story like that, well, a couple stories like that, all around the same image that was leaked, can cause someone's stock to go up 4%. I wonder how many people made money off that deal.
Yeah.
So, Steven,
that's funny.
If I haven't confused you enough already, what do you think of this whole Pokemon, the trading card game, coming to iOS?
I think that it probably is going to be good for the Pokemon Company, because it's another platform that people can play that trading game, a trading card game on. The game already wasn't running on Nintendo's platforms. Yeah. I think that's one of the real ironies there, is that you can't play the Pokemon trading card game on a Wii U. Can you? Does it run on the Wii U's browser?
No. I think it uses Flash. Like, I don't believe you can run it on any browser except for like a PC browser. Like, you can't even do it on like an old Android tablet that still had Flash enabled. Like, I think it just won't run. So yeah, you pretty much need to use your PC or Mac to do it, or potentially in the future the iOS client, if that ever actually gets a release.
Yeah, and I think it makes sense. It makes sense for them to make a little client to run that web game, because they make more money that way. And I think the comment like, oh, we do things differently than Nintendo, was intended to say, this is not to be taken as Nintendo is now making their games on iOS, just that the Pokemon Company is making a client for people who are using iOS devices to be able to access their web game. Yeah. And of course, the thing is blown completely out of hand, because especially in the shadow of what Nintendo was saying about starting to make apps, to help support their platforms and games. Yep. The funny thing, people are tying the two together. So exactly. Nintendo's at damage control now.
They are. And the funny thing that a lot of people forget, and Nintendo already releases, or the Pokemon Company has already released iOS apps. They have the Pokedex as something you can download for like $1 million on iOS after you get all of the character Pokemon pack snap-in downloadable content things. It's like you get one region for $6, and then I think every other region is like $6 or $7 or something ridiculous. So they've already been doing that. This shouldn't be such a huge story. It was like, oh my god, Nintendo, they're doing iOS. But it was, because it is touching. It's a game this time, not just an encyclopedia, and it is touching one of Nintendo's biggest IPs. So so much so that it made stock rise in Japan, which I just think is absolutely hilarious.
That is hilarious. It's funny how the market responds to these kinds of things.
Totally. It's like, oh my god, Nintendo's finally got with it. And then people read the denying articles and the rationalization articles, and they're like, oh crap, did I just buy a whole bunch of Nintendo stock again? Damn, I should have better impulse control.
I just think it'd be neat for them to make an app for the Wii U, something you could get on the eShop to play the trading card game on your Wii U.
I don't know why that doesn't exist already. Yeah. Why isn't it on the 3DS?
Like, it should be on both of those platforms.
It makes absolutely no sense to me. But Nintendo. Anyway, let's move on. There were some really interesting Nintendo articles that came out a couple weeks ago. We never got around to chatting about this one, but it concerns this guy, our little green pal, Yoshi. The person we know and love and we call Yoshi, has been living under an assumed name. In fact, his name is not Yoshi. According to a master reference guide, character guide, in fact, it's called the Nintendo Character Guide 1993. So this is from 1993. Yoshi's actual name is T. Yoshisaur Munchakoopas. T. Yoshisaur Munchakoopas. So we can't call him Yoshi anymore. He doesn't like being called Yoshi. When he was a kid, he was called Yoshi. Now he's a man, known as T. Yoshisaur Munchakoopas.
Yes.
Munchakoopas. Get that
It's
through.
crazy.
Get that through your head. Munchakoopas.
Yes. It's actually a relative of mine.
Munchakoopas. And his first name is T. Dot. So is he a rapper? Is he like T.O.? Is he from the T. Dot Toronto metropolitan area, or does the T stand for the? So it could be the Yoshisaur Munchakoopas, or it could be Terrence or Theodore Yoshisaur Munchakoopas. Could be that as well.
Tieberius
Yoshisaur. That's the best. Yes, it's Tieberius Yoshisaur Munchakoopas. We've solved the mystery, Steven. I am getting a monogrammed.
Figured it out.
I'm getting a monogrammed corner or pocket square with Tieberius Yoshisaur Munchakoopas, and I'm going to wear it with all my suits. It better be a very
big one.
It is going to be green. It's going to be awesome. It's going to have little shoes too. It's going to be great, and a saddle.
Got it all figured out. The saddle. It's gonna have shoes and a saddle.
T. Yoshisaur Munchakoopas. Just call me Tieberius. Call me Ty. I'm Ty, the green
Friends
dinosaur.
Call me Ty, yo. Well, Ty, do you think you could put on some pants? The shoes and saddle thing isn't really doing it for me.
You know, the only thing more ridiculous than T. Yoshisaur Munchakoopas is the whole Super Mario Brothers movie. That was more ridiculous. That's about it.
It was that thing was a drug trip.
Yeah, it was terrible. I don't think we can go anywhere else from that. I think we should just end the show, because what can top Tieberius Yoshisaur Munchakoopas, Steven?
I think we're done. I think that's it.
That's it. All right, guys.
Yep.
And girls, we love hearing from you. Let us know what you think of the show. Head on over to vgpodcast.com and click Contact Us. You can click Leave us a voicemail right on the side. Email us at vgpodcast@gmail.com, or call a voicemail line at area code 505 VG Podcasts. Let us know what you think of the show. Definitely do it. Let us know. Tell 10 friends. Have them listen to the show as well, so they can tell us what they think of the show. We want to make sure that you're still digging what we're doing here at the Nintendo Pulse, and also more so what we're doing at the VG Podcast Network. So please contact us. Let us know. Steven, thanks for coming on. This is another great show, even though it was a couple weeks late. I do appreciate your patience.
It was fun. I appreciated getting to see how you redecorated your room.
Yeah, it's nice. Look at stuff. Oh, Super Mario Bros. 3 complete box. Yeah, it's all great. All right, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. We'll talk to you in about a week's time. Later, everybody.